Very good. Last game, live odds, sportsbookreview.com. Military Bowl, Tuesday afternoon, 12:30 Pacific. Wake Forest and Temple. It's 6-6 against 10-3. Temple's 11.5, 41 the total. Temple lost to Army, first game of the season. Since then, 12-0 ATS. Single best ATS team in all of college football. So you know what's happening, Teddy? Money coming against them.
Of course, the best team in college football against the spread. Let's fade them, which we've seen multiple times against Temple during this remarkable point spread run. And I want to go back to something we said on Friday's NFL show. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, where the Cowboys, had gone on that incredible run of 9 consecutive wins and covers. A public team. They're on TV. They're winning and covering every week. The markets adjust. The public notices. And you don't see value on Dallas. That's why they've lost each of their last 4 going into the weekend against the spread. With college football, especially with a non-marquee team like Temple and a non-marquee conference like the AAC, sometimes these point spread runs stay under the radar for months and months and months. And that's exactly what's happened with Temple. The markets have not adjusted. Now, the early money, or the money is showing up for Wake saying, no, the markets have adjusted too much on Temple. You have to wonder if the Owls are legitimately priced correctly here, given that they haven't been priced correctly all year.
I can't imagine they're excited for this game. I mean, they beat Navy, they win the conference, and they're in this bowl game, not to mention their head coach, Rule, leaves to take the Baylor job?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of questions concerned. Their reward for a 10-win season and an AAC championship, what do they get to do? Let's see. They get to bus 2 hours down I-95. They get to return to the same stadium they just played in. And they get an early start game on a cold December weekend. Yeah, that's not exactly a get a team massively motivated. And it's not even like Wake Forest is going to motivate them. We're talking about a 5th place team in their division of the ACC. The Temple's like, yeah, whatever. And, Matt Rule's at Baylor now, okay? He's took 3 defensive position coaches with him. Now, both coordinators are still there. But when you talk about the read between the lines type of stuff, the defense coordinator, Phil Snow, was the popular choice among the players to replace Rule as the head coach. And he didn't get the job. The university, they hired Florida defense coordinator Jeff Collins. So now we're talking about off a championship game win. The players didn't get their coach. The coordinators are on hand, but the coaching staff is iffy. The matchup isn't exciting. I can understand why, in this instance, the money has come against Temple.
This is part of the handicap. It's certainly a distraction with Wake Forest. They've been in the news for all the wrong reasons. What do we make of a team that still was able to go 6-6, but the play-by-play guy is calling every team and giving them their plays or stuff they worked on in practice?
What a bizarre story. It shows how frustrated. That's why I'm so glad I'm not a fan anymore. I spent half of my life as a fan, Paulie. Being a fan of a team is the most annoying thing in the world because there's nothing you can do about it. When they're play-by-play guy, you can give away their playbook. But as a bettor, there's stuff you can do. You can say, I'm betting against this team. I'm betting on this team. As a fan, you're stuck with what you get. Certainly it's a distraction for Wake Forest. Maybe they're a little bit better than we thought, being that the play-by-play guy gave away their playbook. But we're also talking about a team that went 1-5 down the stretch. A team that lost at home to Army. A team that lost at home to Boston College, favored in both those ball games. A team that scored 14 points or less in half of their games this year. Temple's got a good quarterback. They got Phillip Walker. Wake, not so much. They are a team that stepped up in class relatively well. They went 5-1 against the spread as a dog in the regular season. They won outright at Duke. They won outright on Indiana early. And they hung relatively tough with the likes of Florida State, Louisville, and Clemson. Of course, they were double-digit dogs in all of those ball games. And their only point spread loss as an underdog, they lost by 17, catching 14. Dave Clawson's a guy who's had some postseason success at 1AA at Richmond, but it's worth noting that Bowling Green lost both bowl games that he coached while he was there, although I think he left to take the Wake job prior to the second of those 2 bowl losses.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.